Bridgen.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I thank the Right Honourable Gentleman for his answer. Would he agree to meet with me and a number of whistleblowers at his earliest convenience, and we will provide him with evidence of corruption and fraud in financial institutions, financial regulators and the judiciary?
Minister.
Well, Mr. Speaker, the FCA has published guidelines in July 2017, referring back to the money laundering regulations in 2017, and that is right. And he might want to direct his inquiries towards the Economic Secretary to the Treasury in relation to his substantive questions about prosecutions. Of course, it's right that both the SFO and the CPS operate independently. The Attorney-General is responsible for safeguarding that independence, and she takes that role incredibly seriously.
Anthony Stansfield is former Thames Valley Police and Crime Commissioner. He served from 2013 to 2021. I think at one point, Anthony, you had one of the biggest Conservative majorities in the whole
I think I did.
of the country. Now, in Reading, which was in your patch, there was, with HBOS, quite a serious banking scandal that affected, once again, and with this theme is consistent,
yes,
affected small businesses. What happened?
Basically, HBOS Reading was systemically taking down small companies and medium-sized companies and pillaging them. And they probably made off, we don't know the figure, but it was probably about 850 million. We prosecuted on 245 million. It took us 3 years. 2 other police forces had turned the case down, as had the SFO, if we hadn't prosecuted it. And I give great credit to the Chief Constable, Sarah Thornton, for taking it on. And they were all found guilty. Throughout the case, we did not have the full cooperation of Lloyds Bank, who owned HBOS. They denied a fraud had taken place, and it wasn't until the jury returned its verdict that they put their hands up and admitted it. And they knew perfectly well, and I had the internal emails that showed they knew perfectly well. But what was going on in HBOS Reading was going on systemically out of other banking centres, notably, I believe, Bristol, Gresham Street in London, and also RBS in Scotland.
And so this is the closing down of small accounts and taking cash?
Well, if I can sort of give a very broad, because they're all slightly different, but if a company is worth 100 million and it's got assets and proprietary rights and everything, and it wants to expand and it borrowed £10 million, they would wait until the money was committed and then call the loan in, and then demolish the company, go for the director's personal guarantees, and divvy up the assets, and they made fortunes. The Global Reconstructing Group of RBS in Scotland was not meant to be a cost centre that made money. It made hundreds of millions, if not into the billions, and exactly the same was going on in Lloyds with their BSU, their business support unit. Again, it was deliberately taking down companies to make money, and that went on quite systemically.
So systemically. You believe this has been going on for some time?
It's been going on for quite a time, yes.
Why on earth, Anthony, and it's terrific that you did push that case and work on that case in Reading and get some justice there. Why have so few people in Parliament spoken out about this?
I don't know. I took it to the Prime Minister. Actually, it was Theresa May. I took it to Cameron. Every time I actually went out to the head of the Cabinet Secretary, Theresa May, passed it on to, and he wrote to me and said, "These very serious allegations, I'll look into them." And I wrote him in a certain amount of details, and he wrote back to me and said, "I've taken advice on this, and I've been advised not to talk to you." I mean, absolutely unbelievable.
How helpful!
I have the letter.
How helpful! Well,
so it was covered up.
Well, you've been an absolute terrier on this one, Anthony. And you know, regarding the case in Reading, a spokesman for Lloyds said that the group will continue to provide every assistance the review requires in order that it can conclude its investigation. And around Bristol, the Lloyds Banking Group strongly denies any wrongdoing.